War can cause harm as much as it can an economic boycott, as much as a military warfare. And this is what we need to do, to wake up. Just as we woke up a year ago today and united in hope to find the boys, united in grief, and united in our determination to keep on leading and to keep on defending ourselves. We have to unite now and understand that we have to have all our wherewithal and all our resolve to do it. Why do I say it? Because it's difficult. Before we are looking at all the delegitimizers of Israel, we have to look at ourselves inside and realize that part of the problem that we have is we don't speak in one voice. I mean, we're very proud of our democracy. Everyone has a right to their opinions and legitimate ideology within the law, within the respect of each other. But I don't think that it is wise of any Jewish groups, whether it's here in Israel or whether it's in the United States or anywhere else, to go actively against the state of Israel. By that, I mean to look for investigations, to look for every possible way to find things that would vilify Israel, that would put it in a bad spot, and to aggrandize, actually to focus on things and to make, little things like big ones. And this is something which we have not been able to do. So I do hope that more and more people, and we have to start at our home, that more people will realize that this is also an existential war, and we must win this war as well. And to win it, we have to speak the truth. And the truth is on our hand and on our side. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in the cabinet this week also said, to fight the BDS, to fight delegitimization, just speak the truth. Sometimes the truth is just not known. What we take for granted, people do not know. And sometimes when you put the truth, people are either bored, either they are not focused on that. So we have to do it in an effective way, whether it's in a succinct way, whether it's an interesting way. And if they're still not interested, just bombard them with the truth. And one of the ways to do it, or one of the main theaters, is of course the social media. And it's in the social media, this is where the big fight is. This is where most people in the world today, 50% of the world today, get 90% of all the information that they learn about from the social medias. If you're 25 and younger, you get 90% or almost all the information. So we must be there. And we must be there and do not leave any corner or any stone unturned. When there is any accusation against Israel by Hamas, by anybody, by the Erdogan, the Turks, or the Iranians, it has to be answered. Not answering these lies against us by the Palestinians and their collaborators would be like in the 30s of last century, not to answer the lies of Der Stürmer. You heard of Der Stürmer? Goebbels. The Nazi ideology. The Nazi ideology, Goebbels, was, in propaganda, was very simple and very effective. He said, you repeat a lie 1,000 times, it becomes the truth. And this is what Goebbels did. And our brothers and sisters, at the time, they thought, well, we shouldn't give them the benefit of doubt. We shouldn't give them the kavod. We shouldn't even relate to it. It's so preposterous. The protocols of the elders of Zion. All these blood libels are so preposterous. Nobody will believe it. What they believe. So we cannot repeat the same mistake of last century. And this is why, when David asked me, what could be my message to you here, is that each and every one of us can make a difference. And we cannot just leave it to the government. Why not? because I can tell you, I'm serving in many governments myself, so I'm taking responsibility for that too. Governments today are less and less effective in governing. They may have a lot of budgets, but not real effective funds. There's a difference between budgets and funds. And the bureaucracy, sometimes it's too slow to react. And unfortunately, for the last 30, 40 years, we were not on the front line. We just left the stage. There was a notion after the Oslo Accord that kumbaya, everything is going to be fine. We are starting a negotiation with the Palestinians. There's going to be peace. We don't need to explain anything. We don't have to advocate for ourselves. And we expected that they would do the same. So we didn't advocate for ourselves. What did the Palestinians do? Beside the intifadas and the terror, they also continued with the lies and incitement against Israel. It took us a while to realize that. So it is not too late now to do that. And what do we need to do? First of all, we have to understand the message. And we have to go to the basic message. And I know today there are all kinds of things. They say, well, talk about beautiful Israel, talk about branding Israel. All is good and well. But we cannot go around the conflict and we cannot go around the basic message. And the basic message is the land of Israel belongs to Israel. And Israel, the people of Israel, belongs to the land. That's it. This is the departure point. By the way, those who understand it most are our staunchest allies, mostly in the United States, but also you find them elsewhere. 800 million Christian evangelicals, those fundamental Christians that believe in the Bible as it is, and they're the ones who are not, parsing any hair about it. Okay, this is the truth. So this is something that we have to speak about and not to be shy about it. Now, at the same time, we have to be effective in the message. We say, yes, we do understand that there are some other people here. We are not, we don't want to rule them. We don't want to control them. We don't want to occupy them. We don't want to cause them any harm. On the contrary, we have extended our hand in peace for the last 100 years for them. We have offered them so much. In 2000, in 2008, Bar-Ilan speech of Mr. Netanyahu, but of course to no avail, and they keep killing us. So we have to defend ourselves. But if you look at the truth again, is that these Palestinians, right? By the way, we were all Palestinians until 1948. Palestinian was an administrative unit. There were Palestinian Jews and Palestinian Arabs. If you look at the UN resolution of 181, 29th of November 1947, partition, they talked about, and I quote, Arab state and Jewish state. Now the Palestinians say, Abu Mazen says in 1,000 years they will not recognize Israel as a Jewish state. They talked about a Jewish state back in 1947. In any case, today, most of those Palestinian Arabs are living under Palestinian rule. Gaza, we are not, 1 inch of Gaza is occupied by Israel, right? In a one-sided unilateral move, we left Gaza, hoping to change the dialogue and have peace, and of course we got more terror. Here, in Judea and Samaria, if you look at all the 99% of Palestinians, where do they live? Under Palestinian rule. And the security issues are only because they are attacking us. So no one in his right mind would allow his people to get killed without it. First responsibility of any government, democratically elected government, is security of the people. I want to tell you a story which I think makes sense, how other people, rational people think. When I met together with Ariel Sharon, President Bush, former president of the United States. It was in 2002 at the height of the Intifada, and Ariel Sharon tried to explain to the president what the terror means, and how it can really ruin the country, can really break society in the seams and everything like that. You have to respond. So he told the president, I'm sure, Mr. President, that if from Mexico you had received terror and rockets from Mexico, in 1 hour there wouldn't be Mexico. So Bush was looking at him and said, why? Nobody in the room understood what he wanted. But maybe we offended him. He said, why 1 hour? In 10 minutes they were in Mexico. So when people talk about now proportional responses, with proportional responses, you know, the Nazis will still be in Europe. So we have to put common sense, and we have to make it relevant to the people of the world. So first of all, we say the message, and the message, as I said, it's very simple, but we say, listen, it's not that we want to occupy. This is also very, very important, to show the kind face, to show the compassionate, which our people are so excelled in. This is who we are. We don't want to occupy anybody else, we don't want to rule anybody else, and indeed, if there wasn't any terror, and there wasn't any intention, more than intention, to just wipe us out, we would live here in real peace and great cooperation. So this is number one. The second one, principle, is that we must initiate. We cannot be passive and let them, the Palestinians, frame the debate. For too long they have framed the debate. This is why the terminology, occupied territories, the Zionist entity, or injustice, or human rights for the Palestinians are what everybody's talking about. Nobody talks about Israel's security. Nobody talks about Jewish rights. You know, there is this issue of refugees, Palestinian refugees. According to all law and precedents in history, they're talking about this. You heard of the right of return, Palestinians. Well, there is no right.